self-professed car junkie. I know I shouldn't rely so much on the car. It's not good for me or the environment. But getting around Britain on public transport can be a really difficult, expensive and stressful experience. But other countries are getting it right. And I've found some really interesting answers in an unlikely place, a city in the most car-dependent nation in the world, the United States. Over the last 10 years here in Portland, the use of public transport has gone up by 65%. And whereas greenhouse gas emissions have increased America-wide by 13%, in this city they're down to pre-1990 levels. Portland's commitment to public transport eliminates over 62 million car journeys a year, and the growth in car usage is the slowest anywhere in the United States. Portland is serious about public transport. Before you start thinking this is some sort of liberal lefty utopia, the man who actually kick-started all this in the 70s was a Republican governor, Tom McCall. In a move that epitomises Portland's true commitment and innovative approach to alternative transport, they ripped up a freeway running alongside this river and replaced it with this waterfront park. Today, it's a mecca for cyclists, not cars. To prove just how easy it is to get around on Portland's public transport, the Department of Transportation set a challenge to 25 car-dependent families to hand over their car keys for a month. I met two of the participants, Sarah Gilbert and Jonathan Hansen, on the last day of their low-car diet.
We're going to have to choose different.
So you took this decision to leave your car to go on this low-car diet. What were the reasons that made you do that?
There's several reasons. The main one was gas prices. I mean, $3 a gallon or more. It's inconceivable to fill up an SUV and drive it that gets 18 miles to the gallon. I mean, you can't go anywhere. Not even to the store and back. You really have to choose between eating or driving. It really comes down to that.
This journey that we're doing now, would you use the car for it?
Oh yes, I used to drive the car everywhere. Sarah would sometimes say, let's walk to the store, and I'd say, why? Are you mad? Why would we walk down to the store? And you just have to just tweak your mind a little bit, and it's a lot harder than you think, just to say, step back, and I can go, and...
we can live without the car.
Yeah.
Weaning yourself off the car the Portland way works. With low fares and so many alternatives, tram, the Max Light Rail, bus, streetcar, dedicated cycle and skateboard lanes, and free public transport in the city centre, it's easy to see why. One of the worries that I would have really using public transport with children, just how practical it was. How do you find it here in Portland?
Well, I find it's really easy. I mean, we're so close to the bus stop, and the bus system is so integrated. Like this bus that we got on just right outside of our house takes us right to the Max. Right. So I can get on the Max. I can go downtown. I can go to the streetcar. I can go to the airport.
Thank you.
And when they do need to use a car, an increasing number of Portlanders choose to car share. FlexCar has tripled its vehicle fleet in Portland in the last 5 years.
They have everything from hybrids, they have trucks, big trucks that you can load in yard debris, go pick up building materials, so you can almost be a contractor and not even need to buy your own truck.
How many people would you say at your workplace use public transport to get to work?
I would say between public transport and bicycles, I would say at least 80% of the people.
Right. So very few people coming on in the car?
Very few, and if they do, then they're carpooling other people to the location.
How does your boss encourage that carpooling?
Well, they reimburse you for mileage if they send out emails, and then once they know who's working, they plan on the people that can't get there. And the people that cannot get there, they will carpool with someone that has an automobile, and that driver will get reimbursed for mileage. They just fill out a little slip, turn it in, and they get paid for it.
And would you get mileage if you were travelling on your own?
No,
No. Oh, right. So you actually get mileage for carpooling.
for carpooling.
Leslie Carlson and David Porter also agreed to surrender their cars for a month. They both found it far easier than they anticipated.
I have friends who drive 5 blocks to the store to pick up 3 items. You know, there's no reason you should be doing that. And if you don't have a car in front of your house.
Yeah, one of those people is my husband. And he's totally changed his ways.
Do you think it's the authorities that have changed your behaviour, or do you think it's the people of Portland that have changed the authorities?
I think it's both, because we did have visionaries who said, we're going to do it differently here. We're going to build town centers that people can walk and bike to. We're going to have a transit system in a country that really doesn't have very good.
Like this place, isn't it? This town centre. What was this place? Was it a parking lot or something?
It was originally a hotel and then a parking lot, and now it's a transit center, one of the major stops for Portland. So
Portland's living room.
it is.
Pioneer Square.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah. So this is the litmus test. What are you going to do with your car?
I'm going to sell it.
I really think we could live without it. The trick is going to be convincing my husband.
We're thinking about selling it and getting like an old Vanagon or something and trying not to drive it very much.
So potentially we've got 3 people here, potentially 3 cars are going.
That's right.
That's right.
Portland's transport visionaries aren't afraid of making tough decisions. In the 70s, they made a radical choice to prioritise public transport over the car, although critics say their commitment to passenger transport has historically neglected the movement of freight, something they're now trying to put right. But even today, they continue to pioneer and push the boundaries. And when they were faced with the problem of linking a university and hospital at the top of a hill with a new development on an old brownfield site at the bottom, they weren't afraid to take on the most challenging option, an aerial tram.
This tram is really a linchpin for redevelopment, reducing trips, reducing congestion, and economic development and jobs. If I can spend $57 million, which is a lot, which is more than the original budget, and it's been very controversial, you know, $57 million to leverage over $2 billion in private investment into what was a contaminated, abandoned industrial area of the city, I think that's a pretty good return. I think that's a pretty good investment.